Hello everyone, welcome to Current Affairs for Beginners, a unique initiative by Law Excellence to help the beginners while reading Hindu newspaper. Before starting our session, let's see what are the answers for the questions from previous video. Consider the following statements with regard to DNA profiling. Identification of people becomes easy through this technology. Yes, DNA profiling of human genome is yet to be completed. This project is called as Human Genome Project, has got completed in 2003 itself. So this statement is wrong. Which of the above statements are correct? Since the only one is correct, the answer here is A. The next question is, consider the following statements. Asteroids are planet-like objects, that is why they are also called as minor planets, that revolve around the planets in an elliptical path. They do not revolve around planets, it is sun they orbit around. Asteroid belt is present between Mars and Jupiter. Yes, most of the asteroids, they orbit around the sun between Mars and Jupiter in a band. And it is moon which will revolve even around planets. So which of the above statements are correct? Since the first statement is wrong, only the second statement is correct. So the answer here is B. Our first article is Flying into Trouble. Harriers decline as grasslands disappear. Now let us see what are these harriers and why their decline matters to India. Harriers are a group of birds that belong to hawk family that are active during the day. That means they are diurnal in nature and are mostly found in open plains and grasslands. Out of the 16 Harrier species that were distributed worldwide throughout the tropical and temperate regions, 6 of them, they migrate to India from Central Asia during winter. In order to escape the cold temperatures in Central Asia, they travel to India. In India, there are 15 roosting sites for these Harrier species. And the world's largest Harrier roosting site is also in India. That is the Velvadar National Park, which is in Gujarat. This is the world's largest Harrier roosting site in India. And the 6 Harrier species that migrate to India every year during winter are Pallid Harrier, Montagu Harrier, Eurasian Marsh Harrier, Eastern Marsh Harrier, Hen Harrier, and the 6th one is Pied Harrier. These are the 6 Harrier species that migrate to India every year during winter. What is the significance of this Harrier species? They are the indicators of health of the grassland ecosystem because they feed on grasshoppers that are harmful to agriculture. So now, what is the problem with respect to India? In India, the presence of these Harrier species every year is getting decline. The main reason for this decline is loss of grasslands, which is the foraging area for this Harrier species. There are various reasons for loss of these grasslands, like urbanization, agriculture, reservoirs, creation of reservoirs, and solar farms. And there are various other reasons also. We said agriculture is one of the reasons for the loss of grasslands. This is because of burning the grasslands or overgrazing the lands and expanding the agriculture for drip irrigation and the major reason is pesticides. Excessive use of pesticides is the major reason for the decline of this Harrier population, because in order to kill the grasshoppers, the farmers were spraying these pesticides, and by feeding on these grasshoppers, the poison is getting bioaccumulated and resulting in the death of the Harriers. Another reason I said is creation of reservoirs. Rollapadu Bustard Sanctuary of Andhra Pradesh is also one of the roosting sites of these Harriers. Here, due to the creation of Alaganur Reservoir, it led to the submergence of dry grasslands, which is the foraging area of these Harriers. As I have said, there are 15 roosting sites in India. Out of this, 8 were no longer existing as grasslands and only 5 were being protected. Why is it important for India to protect these roosting sites? Because India had signed Raptor MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding to protect these raptor species. This is a multilateral agreement under the Convention on Conservation of Migratory Species, which is also known as Bond Convention, that is aimed to conserve migratory species throughout their range, and India is a party to this. And this MOU covers 76 species that needs to be conserved, which includes the Harriers also. And this MOU is benefiting to India because it is in conformity with the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, where the birds were accorded protection in India. The next article is In Naughty Problems. From this article, we are going to see about a program called I Care program. I Care, which means improved cultivation and advanced retting exercise for jute. This was a pilot project that was launched by the Ministry of Textiles when most of the farmers were exiting this jute cultivation when there were poor returns. This program is aimed to increase farmers' income by increasing the yield and by improving the quality, by adopting better agronomic practices like line sowing of jute using seed drills, weed management, and by providing quality certified seeds. And this program will be implemented by the National Jute Board and the Jute Corporation of India. Our next article is Golden Jackal faces threat in its habitat. From this article, there is a concept called as reserved forests. What is meant by reserved forests? Based on the administration, the forests in India were divided into 3 categories. One is reserved, protected, and unclassified. Reserved forests are the forests which were under direct supervision of government, where public were not allowed for the collection of timber or even for grazing the cattle. Whereas the protected forests are the forests, these were also looked after by the government, but local people were allowed for grazing to collect the timber or wood, but without causing any damage to the forest. The next one is unclassified forests, where there is no restriction for cutting the trees and for grazing the cattle. One more thing is, whenever any species appear in paper, whether it is flora or fauna, golden jackal, for example, in this article, then make a list of these species. Golden jackal and its nativity. This golden jackal is native to Southeast Europe, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Southwest Asia. And what is the conservation status of this species? It is least concerned. And from this article it is saying that this golden jackal were facing threat in its habitat. The reason for the threat is habitat loss. Like this, whenever any species appear, then make list of these species which will become helpful during your preparation. Our next article is PNB recovers over 7,700 crore NPA in the first quarter. From this article, we are going to learn about insolvency and bankruptcy code. First, let us see what is insolvency and bankruptcy. Insolvency is the situation where the debtor is not in a position to pay back to the creditor. And the legal declaration of this insolvency is bankruptcy. Now let us see what is the procedure for insolvency resolution under this insolvency and bankruptcy code. This resolution process can be initiated either by the creditors or the debtors. But first, whoever maybe it is, they have to submit a plea for the insolvency to the adjudicating authority, that is the National Company Law Tribunal, in case of corporates, whereas in case of individuals or partnership firms, it is the Debt Recovery Tribunal to which they have to submit the plea for the insolvency resolution. If this is accepted within 14 days, then an insolvency resolution professional will be appointed. Who will draft this insolvency resolution plan? In case of companies, it is 180 days. Within 180 days, he should draft the plan that can be extended to 90 days. In case of individuals or startups, it is only 90 days, which can be extended to 45 days. And if this plan is accepted by the 75% of the creditors, then it will be implemented. If not accepted, then the company will be liquidated. The assets of the company will be sold off and the debts will be cleared off. The 4 pillars in this process are the insolvency professionals, who plays a key role in drafting the resolution plan, and they were regulated by the insolvency professional agencies. These are the one. And the second one is information utilities, who will collect the financial information of the debtor. And the third one is the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, who will regulate all these 3: information utilities, insolvency professionals, and insolvency professional agencies. And the fourth one is the adjudicating authorities, that is the National Company Law Tribunal in case of companies, and it is the Debt Recovery Tribunal in case of individuals or startups, partnership firms. So now let's see today's questions. Consider the following statements. Insolvency resolution plan has to be drafted within 180 days in case of companies, and the company will be liquidated if 75% of the creditors agree with the resolution plan. Select the correct answer from the code below. And the next question is, Harrier birds are the health indicators of grasslands. Velavadar National Park is in Gujarat. Try to answer these questions and post the answers in the comment box. And the answers for these questions will be discussed in tomorrow's video. And before ending the session, a small announcement, students. Today, Telugu current affairs video will not be uploaded, and from tomorrow it will be continued as usual. And the August prelims cum mains batch of Law Excellence is from 26th July and the orientation class is on 22nd. Thank you.